Hi, we're with Coach T.J. Parker from the Austintown Fitch Falcons. Your first media day, how did it feel for you? Can you kind of just explain, your thoughts? As I see you were very active in everything you did here. Is that a sign of who we're going to see from T.J. Parker, for instance? I mean, you organized, everything was...
Yeah, I should say almost to a fault. Year one, you want to lay the groundwork. I guess I do have my hands in a lot of things, I believe as a head guy, I kind of got to help in everything. I'm not above anyone. We're all on the same level, all pulling the same weight. So I kind of get my hands in everything so I know what we're doing, and then I need to do a better job at delegating. But of course, the way 2020 is going, it would rain on the first media day. But our kids are resilient, like they've always been, and our staff, and I thought it turned out to be a pretty nice day.
It did, and it's too bright right now, actually.
Yeah.
But so how did it feel being the guy? You're a system guy, and you're here. Is it special? Is it more than special for you today?
You know what? That really hasn't sunk in. I think the drive to succeed that I have right now, I don't want to say it really wouldn't matter what jersey I'm wearing or what T-shirt I'm wearing, but on Friday night, and when we have events, we have our Touchdown Club dinner on Friday, which is a pretty big alumni event. We had our golf outing. That's when it tends to sink in, when I see those alumni, and our turnout has been great, and you have the people come back, and one of my best friends I played with, DeVanzo Tate, he's our DB coach. He calls me coach now. I mean, we're best friends. That's DeVanzo to me, but it really hasn't sunk in. But that first Friday night, when we get to go and we're coming out of the tunnel, I'll have some emotion then.
How has been the reception from the alumni? As you just said, has it been what you expected? I mean, has everybody pulling weight to try to make your signature on this program, no matter who it is?
I think the energy, they've responded well. Like we talked about earlier, there's a bunch of different ways to skin a cat, and we definitely have a unique way of going about it, and that's what we believe in. And I think a lot of alumni are behind us in that sense. They like the change, they want to see the change. We're more active on social media, which doesn't equate to wins, but what we're doing in terms of the kids and bringing them along from the youth all the way up, we're just trying to connect everyone, and give them that big school but small school feel, where they all feel a part of the program, and you're building for generations to come.
So what is the signature of your program that you hope to make known right off the bat?
Yeah, I mean, outside of football-wise, we're still going to be the same old Falcons. On Friday nights, we're going to play as hard as can be. We'll be a disciplined group. We'll be fast. We'll be physical. But the main thing that I kind of want to get across, if you see it online or you see it everywhere else that we talk to the kids about, is that feed the nest mantra. And we've talked about that all through camp, all through summer, all through the off season, which we believe in, that growth, family, flight, and then prosperity. We talk about like growing up as a Falcon, a brotherhood, how you grow in the classroom, on the field, and then you're flying, whether it's on Friday nights or whether it's a career, and then anytime we fly, we want to win. And we instill that winning mentality right now in the kids, all the way up. And then when they get out, and they leave us, we hope for them to become successful people and successful members of society. But the brotherhood, in terms of family, is the one thing that we really want to pound home. If you saw today, like, we had the freshmen in our picture, and the freshmen are practicing with us. It's different here. We used to have a freshman-only team. And these guys are down at the 8th grade practices, and our staff's down the 7th and 8th grade middle school. In the future, I want to combine our youth programs, the Colts and the Falcons, and just make them one whole total youth program, just to combine our families, combine our players, and get them used to kind of playing for each other and with each other.
Now, you mentioned DeVanzo on your staff. That put you at 2002?
2002 football season, 2003 graduate.
Shout out to Phil and Arella in the class from that year. Anybody? I mean, what your season? How that was?
Oh yeah, I mean, my guys.
Since you're a Fitch guy, why not?
I mean, it's weird. At Mooney, our head coach, my 3 years on varsity, sophomore, junior, and senior, was Carl Pelini. So with my guys, DeVanzo Tate, Mike McGlenn, former Pitt Panther, and then several pro guys. He's been at practices, not just watching, coaching, several times. I've been in contact with Dan Gerber, who's a junior, former Detroit Lion. We have DeVanzo. Seth Steiner was a senior. He's our wide receiver coach. He was a senior when I was a sophomore on staff. Joe McMahon was a junior. He's our co-defensive coordinator, was a junior when I was a senior. And then when you turn around and you look at all of our events, the classes that have been around me pulling their own weight, I got my best friend in the world, Pat Bokish, who's our director of football operations, unpaid, out here helping. It's definitely a unique feel and a lot of old faces, and it's motivated faces too. It's kind of not the easy decision, to bring these guys back. They're hometown guys, and it's simple. It's complex, and when they see us back, they see energy, they see drive, and it excites people.
What can you say about Phil? I mean, you have to comment on him, I'm sure, just because you're the next head coach after the interim year, I guess, if you say that.
Yeah, I was around during the Phil era, and he really, really brought a sense of Falcon football back. He had some great years with some great athletes, and he's one of the most well-respected coaches in the area. I think you can learn a lot from any coach, but what I've told everyone that's asked about that is I have to be myself. If I try to emulate Phil, I'll fall short. I want to be myself. It's going to be completely different, but there's things that I grew up when I was 23, spotting in the press box, watching him run his teams, that I took good and bad of what I would do differently, what I would do the same. And I think you should do that from anyone. We'll constantly be growers here in terms of our staff, but Phil, I know he was dedicated, he was loyal, and he was a great human being and great for our program and great for our kids. But, I think the best thing he would want and the best thing for our program is for us to move forward and go at it 100%.
Well, there's an 8-foot elephant maybe here on the football field somewhere, and that would be, the situation that we're currently in.
Mm-hmm.
How do you address it? I heard you interview with the great John Varga earlier this morning talking about you're not just coaching football, you're coaching a whole new world right now.
Yeah, and that's what I think a lot of coaches, they'll say. You hear coaches in the past all the time, hey, we're not just coaching football, we're developing kids. But when you throw COVID-19 into the mix at such a large program like we have, it can be daunting. And I tell everyone, schools haven't made decisions yet on what they're doing, how they're operating, how kids are going to look in the classrooms, how we're going back to school online, all that. But the football teams and the other fall sports teams have kind of been the guinea pig. Go out there and here's the rules to abide by, and you're dealing with 15 to 18-year-old kids, and it's tough. They just want to be kids, whether it's in practice or you let them cut them loose and then you see them all standing right next to each other with no masks on, in front of our fitness center. But the numbers we have staff-wise, we have a great strength and conditioning coach.
20-some staff?
Yeah, we have about 18 staff members. But our strength and conditioning team, which includes some interns from YSU in the off season, they've been doing a great job in the weight room. Unbelievable job in the weight room of making sure we're masked, making sure we're social distancing. And as a coach, that's taken a lot off my plate. And then we have Tori Corda, who's our trainer, who's out here all the time. She's kind of the social distance queen. She's making sure people are, standing where they should, breaking us up, because when we get going as coaches, we just want to go. And, at times, those are things that we have to be cognizant of if we want a season, but you can lose track of those when you're out here grinding and getting after it.
I assume you're just going to show up and do what they tell you to do.
Exactly, yeah. Whatever it takes for these guys to be playing on Friday night, we'll fall in line and do it to the best we can.
Can I ask, and you don't have to answer, would you be happy if there were no fans in the stands, or would that be okay? Or is that something you'd rather not answer?
Oh, no, I would definitely not be happy if there's fans in the stands, but I don't think that'll affect our play in any way. What we're trying to build here is not only a program, but a community, and I want them here to see it. They have to be a part of it. I want them around to feel it and then see the hard work our staff and the kids have been putting in and see what the payoff looks like. And our kids feed off that. I want classmates, I want kids out in the stands being excited about coming to a Friday night football game. And to take that away, it'll definitely be a blow and something we'll have to get adjusted to. But as long as you're guaranteeing we're playing on Friday nights, we're okay with that.
And it's been a long morning for you so far, and you got a ton more to go. Without getting real in depth, tell me a little bit about your team, what you're proud of. You don't have to get real in depth, but I know there's a few guys you might want to mention. Just what are you looking at that you see as your first group of kids that you're going to bring out on the field?
Like I told everyone, for the past 3 years, myself, our offensive coordinator, a couple other guys on staff, we've been staring at college kids, 18-year-old, 22-year-old seniors, all the way up. So to not see our guys go against anyone else, there's still a lot left to be determined. And, tomorrow we kind of put on the uppers, and then as we move further in the week, we'll get a real good feel for how we are. But in terms of what we have, offensively, we like our explosiveness. We think we have a quarterback who could possibly be one of the best players in the area, if not the best, in Devin Sherwood. He's a junior. He's a returning starter. Started a couple games late in the season.
May I ask, Nate Leskovac is another player you use a lot. How does that? Is that a good thing for the team? Is either is that a good working relationship? That who's quarterback and who isn't? Is that or no?
Oh yeah. I think if you knew.
And I'm
Nate,
just asking.
If you knew Nate,
how talented he is. Yes, it had to be a tough decision.
He's an unbelievable talent. But Nate he embodies what a Falcon is. He's a selfless player who wants to do whatever he can to help out the team. Toward the end of the season last year, if you paid attention, Devin started taking over more and more of the quarterback reins, depending on what type of offense they were going, and Nate moved right to receiver and didn't miss a beat. He actually ended up being one of the leading pass catchers on the team last year. He's a great athlete, and it's our job as a staff to find ways to get him the ball. But there's no doubt Devin has come into his own, and we're pretty excited about that. But, you'll see both of those two behind center at some point.
And maybe a little bit of a flea flicker with those two, possibly.
Don't be giving away any of our secrets. On the outside,
yes.
We love our receiving core.
So do I.
You have Todd Simons, returner. Tyler Evans is poised for a big year as a returner who got hurt last year, a junior. Donnie Ellis is a junior who's a track kid, pretty fast, one of the fastest kids in the area. And then you have a returner, he's a dynamic player in Jaden Murray at our tight end, who's a blocker and a pass catcher. He'll be with A.J. Bird, who will play both sides for us. Jaden will play both sides for us. You got some young guys we're excited about. Sophomore Jaden Neely, sophomore Cam Smith, and then freshman Dan Evans. In the backfield, we love what we have there. You got two guys in Tyree Mitchell, who's a returning starter. He ended up starting late. And then Jamel James, who he's also poised to have a big year, and he should have a coming out party this year, we expect.
Is that the young man I've been hearing a lot about?
Yes, yeah. So we're excited to unleash him a little bit and let him go. He's got the work ethic and the mentality to be elite, and he's doing everything he can. But make no mistake about it, Tyree's right there with him and not giving that ball up easily. On the other side, go ahead.
Do you have a philosophy, or do you just line them up and play football, or do you adjust to what do you hope to bring to this area that maybe might be lacking?
I would say, we don't necessarily come into any program, if you're asking us offensively what our philosophy is, we don't say you're coming to run what we do. We feel we're very, very multiple. That's the way we're going out. We will scout against our opponent and adjust our game plan to the opponent. If you listen to my interview with John, like I said, we definitely want to run first. If you're going to let it, we want to build the physicality here up front. That's something Coach Bruno has instilled with the guys up front. If you're going to let us run it down your throat, we'll be happy to do that all game. But at the same time, we're going to be explosive. You'll see us in multiple personnels in terms of 11, 10, 12. We're going to try to mix you up to keep the defenses off your toes. But we are going to be an explosive offense. And we talk about offensively numbers, green grass, leverage. That's what we look for. So if you're giving it to us on the perimeter, we're going to take it. If you're giving it to us in the box, we'll take it then too.
Right. On the other side of the ball,
how you feel? On the other side of the ball. Good. We got two guys over there. Joe McMahon's been around for a long time. former DC, now co-DC with Nico Mancuso, who, spent some time at YSU under Bo Pelini. Those two guys been getting after it pretty hard, and I think what allows us to be so dynamic on both sides of the ball, our offense is going against our defensive daily. So, we're showing our defense 10 personnel. We're showing our defense 11 personnel. We're giving them 2 back. We're giving them multiple looks, multiple formations that allow, us to kind of grow, and they're seeing what maybe a team would see on a Friday night, and then next week, and they're adjusting to that. So those 2 guys have been getting after it along with the other guys on staff. Like I had mentioned, we're a platoon team now. So when you mentioned our 18 coaches, we have an individual coach for every position. So the daily work that our DBs, our D-line versus our O-lines get, DBs versus wide receivers, running backs, linebackers, it's been great, and we feel that's led to a lot of growth. Personnel-wise, I'll start up front. Unproven, but guys we feel pretty strongly about. Very, very explosive, fast twitch guys who got some strength. We're looking at 2 juniors at the bookends, and AJ Bird and Donovan Oliver. If they get you behind the sticks, these guys will come after you. Then you'll have rotating in with them seniors Jaden Murray and Brandon Jacino, guys who are just animals in the weight room, who are excited about the ability to go tackle a quarterback. And then in the middle, that's a competition there. We have a guy out for the first time since his sophomore year in Jacob Smale. And then you have 2 sophomores, Aiden Miller, who's kind of a quick, strong wrestler type kid. And then our big boy in the middle, when we want to plug some things up, is Josh Fitzgerald, who's also a sophomore. The next level is where we feel is going to be the heart of our defense. We return 4 starters, you could say, at linebacker, and that's led by All-State linebacker Nate Leskovac. He just has a nose for the ball, plays sideline to sideline, and it's just a menace out there. Next to him, you have senior Jameer Robinson, who's been a leader this entire time. Just a quiet leader who has a nose for the football and plays hard consistently. Working in with them, you'll have Tyree Mitchell, who's a returner from last year. He'll be going both ways. And then we have a young guy we feel pretty confident about in DJ Williams, who's a freshman, who's kind of getting his feet wet a little early, but he's going to get some looks once we put on the pads. On the outside, it starts with Reggie Floyd, who started last year. He'll be one of our dogs and rovers. Then you have Devin Pounds. Reggie's a senior, Devin Pounds is a junior. And then Omar Parr, who's a senior, he'll be working in with those guys. In the secondary, when you look at things back there, on paper we return 3 of our 4 starters. Kyrie Long is our returning lone cornerback. He's a long, fast track kid, hurdler, who we feel is going to be our lockdown guy. He'll chase the best receiver. Then in the safety position, we do return Todd Simons and Tyler Evans, both 2-way guys for us, but they'll be more of a rotating in group, as we expect a lot out of Cam Smith. He's a sophomore, and he's part of the future of this program. He's a dynamic kid. Last year as a freshman, he played some quarterback while also playing DB, and QB hit list just ranked him as the 3rd highest rated quarterback in the state of Ohio in his class. So he's hoping to be the quarterback of our defense this year as a sophomore. And then at the other corner, we're excited about a senior we got out. Hasn't played since his freshman year, Tyrese Bandy. Competing against him are Teron Jones and Dan Evans, freshman. So Teron's a senior. He had a little injury over the summer that set him back a little bit, but he's backfiring, and Took is he's definitely back. He's probably one of the fastest kids on our team and one of the fastest kids in the school. He'll be pretty explosive, and he'll be in the return game for us, and then you might see him a little on offense.
Home of Jeff Wilkins. How's the kicking game? It's usually a strength for Fitch, pretty much, yes?
Yeah, we are excited. We returned both of our kickers. In freshmen who got some kicks last year, Josiah Burney. Chris is his dad, who was also a kicker here. But Josiah lettered as a freshman as a kicker. So we couldn't be more excited about that. He's worked. He's actually been on the field with Jeff working up here this summer. Competing with him is senior Carlo Walters, another returning letterman. And then we have 2 other kickers in senior Christian Kosa, and then Bailey Stewart. She plays for the women's soccer team. She's out for the first time as a sophomore, so she's all excited. Her dad, Jake Stewart, was a kicker here and then a kicker for YSU. So back to that family, building that community. You got people that are around, that are now coming around, showing their face, helping, getting their kids involved. And that's the main thing we want to do, is keep Austintown families here and then bring Austintown families back. When you grow up to be successful, you want to build a house or buy a house in Austintown.
And I see a relic hanging around the stadium. Bill Fitch, Billy Price's dad's here.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Bill
Excuse me, Bill Fitch.
No, yeah.
Yeah, Bill Fitch.
Yeah, Bill Price is, he's a staple.
And of course, Billy, obviously.
Yes. Big Bill's a staple of this program, Mr. Equipment guy. He's on these kids left and right. He's on myself. But, having him around and having that connection to Billy, he's been busy. It's a busy off season for him. He feels he has to prove himself for the Bengals again after some setbacks last year. So we haven't really got the chance to get him on at the stadium or connect with the kids in any way. That's something we hope to do in the future. But he's got a goal, and that's how he puts food on the table. So we support him 100%, and we're glad to have his dad and that family here in Austintown.
You've had a smile on your face most of today. What are your expectations now that you're here? I mean, what are you wanting? I don't know if it's quantified in victories or what would you say?
I think it would be naive to say it's quantified in victories, but I don't want to make any mistake about it. We definitely want to build this program back up to being a consistent state contender. That's one of our main goals. But the other main goal that goes along with that is we want to build a community that rallies around their football team and that produces successful young men once they leave here. We talk about, Coach Benzel, who I was with at Westminster, says the same thing. We tell our kids all the time, it's not what you are when you're 15, it's when you are that 18 that matters to us. We want to see exponential growth over time and send them out into the real world and build that alumni and build that community that will support our program for years to come, and then continue it on the climb to be one of the best in the state.
Was this ever in your vocabulary, doing what you're doing right now?
Being the head coach?
At Austintown Fitch. Was this ever even...
Yeah, when I realized what I wanted to do, and through my experience in life, I was fortunate enough to have my dad as my first coach, and he coached me all the way through. So being around a coach and growing up like that, you kind of become a student of the game. And then, I wasn't overly athletic. I wasn't the best. So I had to find ways to win. And, as I had some experiences and, times you enjoy and times you don't so much, I started when I was probably 18 years old and getting out of high school, and kind of my high school days were over. I was a 3-sport athlete here. I took something from every program that I said, I want to do this. And, I'm a physical education teacher here, so sports and molding kids has kind of been my focus. And anytime you want to be a physical education teacher, you better be signing up to do coaching. So at that point I knew, and then from there I just took every experience and every piece of knowledge I could to say, hey, when I get the opportunity, this is what I want to do. I definitely took a different journey, spending some time at the college level. I did enjoy that a lot.
When is the last Fitch game you've seen in person?
You know what? I this was my recruiting area. So on Friday nights they let me come up here, and they kind of gave me. We had a lot of Fitch kids come up to Westminster through the time. So they gave me the freedom to, follow Fitch and then follow the teams they play. When you play the schedule we do, you're going to see a lot of good players night in and night out. Being a Western PA team. They were in Ohio a little bit, but not as much until I got there. So that was fun, recruiting my hometown, and it allowed me to honestly stay in contact with the teams. I'm watching guys on our schedule, Ursuline, Warren, Boardman. I didn't come in blind. I know what Mooney and these guys have coming back somewhat, and what they graduated. But in terms of the dream, Westminster was a very special place to me, and I would have been happy to stay there, for the rest of my life. But this was the ultimate goal. The only place I would leave there for, or another college job, would be coming home, in the community I live in, the community my kids grow up in, the community my wife's from. That's a special opportunity that I want to take full advantage of. And yeah, it's a dream come true. But like I've told everybody, the honeymoon's over, and we're ready to win.
And finally, it's great getting to know you. If we look down this way, in a few weeks there'll be a big Fitch Falcon thing over there, and players will be coming out of that tunnel over there, maybe, hopefully.
Yes.
Have you thought much about what that's going to look like? You got a big smile on your face.
Yeah, that's the one thing. My offensive coordinator, Dak Britt, he always asks me the same question. Like, have you thought about game one? And anytime I even think about it for a second, I get chills. But I want to stay grounded. I want to keep the kids focused, because they'll be feeding off of me, and I'll be ultra excited for that game, and so will they. But it's a 4-quarter game, and we need to understand that, and we need to keep our wits about us. And I tell the kids, we can't get too high, we can't get too low. So I expect the same from myself, as hard as that's going to be on that first Friday night. But yeah, I can't lie to you to say, anytime I think about the lights on a Friday, and that tunnel being blown up and us coming out of it, yeah, that's what we're working so hard for.
That's awesome. 37?
35.
Oh, okay. I was just trying to figure out the mathematics of when you graduated. Geez, wish you nothing but the best. I don't know how long this stop is going to last for you here, but you're a Fitch guy, and you fit pretty good. And I like the 2021 behind you, one of the iconic, I think, signature stadiums.
Yes.
Of that, with 2021 on in there.
No doubt about it.
So best of luck to you. I appreciate
Thank
you
you
taking the
very
time. It's
much.
been a long morning. We dodged the rain pretty good.
Yes.
And I'll be seeing you this year.
It was very nice
Yeah.
meeting you, and thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for. This is not about me, but featuring my guys.
Yeah.
That means
And
the
you
world to
introducing
us.
you to the community.
Yes.
And to our community.
Thank you very
outside
much.
of Fitch. Yeah. Best of luck to you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yep.